Hi guys, and welcome to another video from Stupid as a Normal channel, where we demonstrate how to become a millionaire in 10 years on minimum wage. And I thought in this episode I'd give you a snapshot of where I am, an up-to-date picture of where I am on that journey, and chat a little bit about the disturbances in the property market and in the financial market, how it's affected the project and the plans we've made to make sure that we stay on track. So first of all, net worth. What I've done here is, and just to remind you, by the way, if you're watching this for the first time, it is now October 22, if you're watching sometime in the future as well, that I started 4 years and 3 months ago working behind a bar on minimum wage with no money in the bank and £10,000 worth of credit card debt. I still have some debt actually. We've got £400 left of that £10,000, which I haven't included on here, but that's where we started from. I'm still on minimum wage. I got a job instead of working behind a bar as a cab driver and still making minimum wage. So these purchases that I bought, I've done so on minimum wage. So in that time, 4 years and 3 months, I bought 3 properties, 1, 2 and 3, and I've listed here the mortgages on those properties, the value of the property now, and the equity within them. No explanation needed here. They are what they are, and the equity in those properties are £125,250. I also have some cash in the bank, and that's to prepare for the next purchase. So in my Barclays daily account of 1,600, my Halifax, which is where I transfer money from here to there for deposits, I have 7,500, and I have 6,000 in an ISA, which I won't touch, but it's there as part of the net worth. The ISA is just my emergency fund, and there's another 15,000 in there. 15,000 out of that comes down to 140,350 for the purists amongst you, who often ask, do you include your residential property? I don't, and that's just out of choice, because I intend to live here. So, and I also started with the residential property, so I shouldn't really add it in as progress. But it's there, and if you wanted it, there's about £70,000 equity. So if you wish, my total net worth is £210,000. I couldn't have started this project at a worse time, really. First of all, we had COVID, which wasn't part of the plan. And there was pretty much a shutdown, so income fell in that year or two over COVID. There was some quantitative easing, which means that the government printed lots of money, which we're paying for now, because by printing lots of money, it injects inflation in the system. And today, inflation was announced to get to double-digit figures at 10.1%. And to combat that, the Bank of England raised interest rates. So interest rates are now double what they were. I'm going to go into the effect of the interest rates rises have had on my income on the next page. So that's where we are now. Now, one of the things I'm going to do in December this year is that this property here comes off its fixed rate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hopefully remortgage it and take some of the money out of here. I'm expecting to get £10,000 added into here. And plus my savings rate is about £2,500 a month. So I expect that December to have about £24,000 to be able to invest in a second property. But I'm not going to do that for reasons I'm going to go into in the next slide. Right guys, on to income. Same 3 properties, rents, the mortgage, and the income from them after taking off the mortgage and management costs. I haven't allowed any maintenance fees. To be fair, I haven't paid any maintenance fees. I think that's one of the things you have to do when you're choosing your properties, is to buy nice properties in nice areas for nice people to live in. Nice properties, I mean, they don't need an awful lot of work. They're not, whilst they're not brand new, they're not run down and somebody's maintained them before you buy them. So there's not an awful lot of money to spend on them. In fact, I don't think, as I said, I've spent anything in the last 12 months. Other than things on gas certificates and such like. But so here's the rents on them. 1, 2 and 3. This is the change here, and this is the difference that interest rates have made. I think this was on a 2% fixed for a year. It's come off it this month, and the cheapest I could get was just over 5%. So that's gone from £87 a month to 208. It's an eye-watering difference, which obviously reflects on the income from there. So that's gone down from 373 to 242. If I add those up, I come to 995. There's going to be some other issues later, because this one comes off its 2-year fixed in December in 3 months' time, which, as I said on the previous flip chart there, that I intend to use that opportunity to remortgage the property, take some money out and put it in the bank ready for the next purchase. But of course, that will increase because the interest rate will go up on that, and it'll go up because I'm taking more money, which is effectively raising the mortgage by another £10,000 or so. So the income will shrink there. This is the tax year. This is not how much I make. This is how much I'm saving, £1,300 a month. So my savings rate is 2295 right now. So I have to make some changes to make sure that I stay on track. One of the things I'm doing taxi wise is that I'm working more hours. I work 60 hours a week right now as a taxi. I work 6 days a week, although on the Saturday, to be fair, I start at 5 and finish at 10. I'm now going to continue to working through the afternoon, another 5 hours, so raising that to 65 hours a week or thereabouts. And I did it for the first time last week, and I made an extra £80. So if I do that over 4 weeks in the month, average 4 weeks, we've got, say, £320 a month. So I'm going to raise, hopefully, my savings rate by £320. And naturally, this is not including tax as well. So that's why I'm going to work more hours. I know I spend a lot of time on here saying if you want to make more money, you have to work harder and work more hours if you can. So that's what I'm doing. I'm swallowing my own pill, my own medicine here, and working more hours to make sure I keep that on track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the strategy a little bit. As I said on last week's video, is that instead of buying buy-to-lets, I'm going to take the money for the next purchase and buy a serviced accommodation. I don't want to go too much into serviced accommodation, what that is, but if you think about Airbnb, in our next week's video, I shall explain to you what serviced accommodation is, what the pros and cons are of buying it. The biggest pro is it'll take something like this, $345, which is typical after net fees from a buy-to-let, up to about $1,300 if you buy in the right place and if you buy the right property and you market it well. So there's all sorts of variables in there, but that's what I have to do. It's, as I said again on a previous video, that the goal hasn't changed. We still intend to make £1 million in 10 years, but because of all the changes in the marketplace, we have to adapt the plan accordingly. Another way I'm going to adapt the plan is I'm going to buy the next property, the serviced accommodation, through a limited company. These 3 properties here I've just bought in my own name. There are lots of pros and cons with buying within a limited company, and again I'll do another video on them specifically tailored around the limited company that I need. And that's because I have to take into effect things like inheritance tax, because I'm of an age, and sometime in the future, probably before you, I'll be dying, and I need to protect it from the tax man so I can pass it on to the children. So I'm going to be buying with a limited company, which means that yes, the interest rate will be high as you buy through a limited company. Yes, the interest rate will be high because I'm using a commercial mortgage to buy a serviced accommodation, but in a limited company, all the mortgage fees I can deduct before I pay any profit. So that should hopefully level things out. But again, I'll do a more specific video on that one in the very, very near future. So I hope you found that useful. Just to recap, net worth is around about £140,000, not include the residential. Income has gone down because of the change in interest rates. That's my savings rate right now. And the steps I've taken are that I'm working harder, I'm working more hours to keep the income up. I'm buying with next one on a serviced accommodation to increase the income. I'm doing it within a limited company to hopefully shelter more of it from tax. The goal remains the same as I said. The plan keeps changing. You've got to keep adapting the plan, guys, because life is life, and that's what happens. So I'm still confident we'll stay on target. Any questions below, give me a shout. Don't be stupid and don't be normal.